Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonlit Lioness Stargazing Sunday. This is the week of August 16th through the 22nd. This should be a great week. We've got a lot of interesting energy. We've got a nice sextile between Jupiter, the two benefics, Jupiter and Venus, which I think is going to give us a nice support system for any kind of aggravations or whatever might be coming our way. So let's go ahead and get to it. I will share my screen. There we go. There we go. All right. So I had all kinds of trouble with AI this week. I don't know what the deal is. It was like everything I asked it to do, there was always some little gremlin issue, something going on. So, and being the Virgo stellium that I am, I'll be happy to point them all out to you in my issues that I've got. So I give it pictures of the moon because it cannot create the phases of the moon. So I give it pictures of the moon to put in there, and it initially posted them, and now you can tell that, the first four moons look exactly the same, and all of a sudden it becomes a first quarter moon on August 20th. And then there's little blurbs down here in the opposition where I had to, because it couldn't get the glyphs right, I had to change those. Some things I missed, and it's just the way it is. Like here it has August 21st on the last day of this key transits of the week, and that should be August 22nd. So I apologize. I spent a lot of time. It was just getting aggravating, and I finally just gave up trying to get it just right. So I guess that is the problem with at least the one I'm working with. So, but let's move on. Enough of that. We'll just get into it. Let's see. So our phases for this week are leading to a first quarter moon. We got a first quarter moon. So we had a new moon last week where you're setting your intentions. And now we're moving into the first quarter where if you have any new projects going on, this would be the time to take action on them and move ahead with them. So today we have the moon in Libra. And so the undercurrent, recurring, or the emotional theme, get the words right, are like balanced, cooperative, relationship focused, beauty loving and fair-minded. So it will help you get through your day and deal with things eloquently, right? And then Monday, tomorrow, we do get into Scorpio. That's a little more intense and passionate, investigative. So it can be very effective for digging into things and doing research, having insight into situations and things like that. And then on Thursday, I believe, because it didn't show the days. It's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yes, Thursday. We have our first quarter moon, and it's in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is more adventurous, optimistic, wisdom-seeking, honest, freedom-loving, expansive. And that carries through Friday. And then on Saturday, the moon enters Capricorn, which is a more disciplined energy, getting things done. And then in this, I added a new section right here. You can see this is the ongoing planetary aspects that last more than a week or more than a couple of weeks. So we still have the grand mini trine going on. It's not in an exact configuration between Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, but it's there. And I'll talk about that again in the next slide. And then we've got Chiron aspecting the nodes, and that will last for a little while as well. And then the key transits of the week, you can see this is a little bit misleading the way it's set up. We have 3 transits all happening on Monday, and that's the way I would have liked them to show up so that you can see there's a lot going on Monday. However, that's not the way the AI did it, and I like I said, I just kind of gave up on it. But today we have a nice stellium in Leo, and I'll talk about that. And then Monday, tomorrow, we have, like I said, these 3 aspects right here. Mars squared Neptune, Mercury trine Saturn, and Venus sextile Jupiter. And then we kind of go through a period where there aren't any major planetary aspects. And then on Friday, we have a Venus in opposition to Saturn, and on Saturday we have the Sun entering into Virgo after it makes a conjunction with the South Node. Okay, so let's move on to the Grand Mini Trine. Okay, I wanted to bring this up. It's still out there. It's still influencing us in a very positive, supportive way. I'm going to show you here on the chart, and you can see I've got AstroGold for my Windows. It's out now. AstroGold is a software that you can get for Windows. I mean, it used to be only for a Mac, and I wasn't a Mac user, so I couldn't use it, but I used it on my iPad, but not on, I couldn't use it from my computer. So I was limited to being able to show pictures. And now I have it for my computer, which is fantastic. And so I can give you these nice, pretty pictures, and it's easier to get up onto my slides. So anyway, here is the Grand Mini Trine. You can see they're not all at 4 degrees anymore. Pluto's at 3 degrees, Uranus is at 5 degrees, but they're still close enough to be in that trine aspect. We have Pluto in Aquarius, and if you look over here, the slide shows, here's Pluto, that's the death card, and the star, that's the Aquarius card. And when we put the two together, what are we getting? We're getting this energy of transformation regarding hopes, fears, or regarding our hopes, our goals, the collective, and so on. Pluto in Aquarius transforms how humanity connects, okay? Because Aquarius is how humanity all connects with each other, how we collaborate, how we serve each other. The structures that no longer serve us are going to dissolve, and we're going to become more equitable, innovative, and awakened. And, we're moving into the future here, folks. That's what that's showing us. And then it's ruled by, in the modern astrology, Uranus. And it's also in a trine with Uranus. So here's Uranus over here in Gemini, and you can see that energy on these cards right here, Uranus and Gemini. So you've got the Fool and the Lover's card. The Fool is the Uranus card, and the Lover's card is, Gemini is the Lover's card. So the Fool, it's like taking new and interesting directions. Uranus is very much about change. So Uranus and Gemini sparks this revolutionary ideas, breakthrough technologies, unfiltered communication, because Gemini is communication. The Lovers, it's communication, something going back and forth between two things or more, right? It's multiplication, it's more. Truth is shared, questioned, and redefined. Duality brings contrast into conversation, exposing what must change so we can evolve. And duality is very much a part of the Lovers and Gemini as well. So putting those two together, we get that energy, and that is ruling how Pluto changes things here. Okay, because Uranus rules Aquarius in modern astrology. Traditional astrologers will say you don't use the word rule for modern astrology, but I'm doing it. Okay, I'm being that rebellious Uranus Fool card there. And then the final planet is Neptune, and Neptune in Aries is shown here. We've got Neptune is the Hanged Man, and Aries is the Emperor. And you put those two energies together, and you're getting this finding your spiritual enlightenment, and through the uncomfortableness of it. But you're the boss, man. You're saying, I'm willing to do this. I want to do this, and I want to do it for myself. And I'm not following anybody else. I'm doing it for myself. So Neptune in Aries dissolves old spiritual paradigms and inspires a bold, heartfelt pursuit of truth. We are called to forge our own path, guided by intuition, compassion, and courage. Okay, so I give AI the words and what I'm interpreting and what I'm saying, and then it puts it back in AI talk. And yeah, it sounds a little bit like AI talk, but however, if I don't agree with what it's saying, I won't put it on there. It's just making what I say sound a little nicer, I think. But anyway, that's kind of what we're getting here as far as that Grand Mini Trine. And as I said, it's still going on. Another thing that's going on for a little longer, or for a longer than a week is the Chiron aspecting the nodes. So here we've got Chiron. Remember Chiron, okay, you're going to be okay. It's in Taurus right here, and it's at 0 degrees. So with the nodes being at 29 degrees, and that being at 0 degrees, and they're all slow moving. They're going to be here until mid-September. Okay, so this aspect is going to be here. So what is it about? What is this aspect about? Chiron and Taurus, and this is another mistake by AI, is this is not the cards for Chiron. Chiron is wounded healer. We have the 9 of Wands and the 3 of Swords, and Taurus. More than one card usually showing that, but I asked it to bring it up, and then I asked it to do it again, and it just kept insisting it was going to pick one card, and that was that. I'm like, okay, we'll leave it the way it is. So just remember, this is the wounded healer. It's in Taurus, and Taurus is about, it's our value system, it's our body, it's yeah. So there's something else I wanted to say and it wasn't coming to me, but so the wounds could be around feeling like you're not, your self-esteem, not feeling like you look good enough, not feeling like something's good enough regarding your body. Maybe you don't feel like you have enough money. There may be wounds around your personal finances. That's the other one, personal finances. So and so on. So these are the kind of wounds that some of us may have for various reasons. And what we're doing is we're rooting those out and we are moving forward. How are we doing it? When we do it, actually, when we do this, we're moving ourselves from, we're letting go of certain undesirable Leo traits, and we're moving more towards the desirable Aquarian traits, Aquarius traits. Let's see. Taurus teaches us to heal by honoring the body, the earth, and what is truly precious. Okay, so let's just pretend. I'm sorry, this is not the card, but there is no the card for Chiron. But I guess for today, AI is insisting this is the card. So we will pretend this is Chiron and Taurus for today. And then let's look at the node placements. The South node being in Leo, we have the Strength card for Leo. And what is that? That is releasing ego patterns, and by releasing old ego patterns, we become more compassionate, generous, and heart-centered. The better qualities of Leo. So, whatever we're working on here helps us to release old patterns and improve here. And also, as far as the Aquarius is concerned, our path forward is to contribute to humanity, embrace innovation, and uplift our communities. So we're getting we're getting out of the being centered on self, and more into being focused on communities and those around us and helping each other out. And by fixing the old wounds we have in regard to Taurus, we'll do that. We've got, once we get to mid-September, the Chiron is going to retrograde and go back into Aries. And then we'll be revisiting some issues with Aries qualities. So, but for now, it's the Taurus qualities, as I said, self-worth, the body, personal finances. It's those type of things that we're supposed to be rooting out and healing right now. Okay, now let's get into this week's aspects. We've got Leo, a Leo stellium. So right here you can see we've got Jupiter, Mercury, the Sun, all moving toward the South node. So all of these things, so the Sun is the ego, the self. Mercury is how we communicate, think, and communicate. Jupiter is it can be our belief systems, our philosophies, and it also is very expansive. It kind of touches a lot, expands what it touches. So, and it's almost conjunct Mercury here. So they're all moving towards letting something go regarding Leo, okay? Because they're all moving toward that Leo south node. So let's look at the cards for these planets and these energies. Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune. Expand with purpose. Our beliefs are evolving. Trust the cycles. What we put out now can change our future. So I like that interpretation actually of the Jupiter being the Wheel of Fortune. What we put out now can change our future. So everything's flipping. It's kind of like buying at the bargain basement sale prices. You know, it's like when the stock market drops, are you prepared to take advantage of that and buy something? Because that can change your future. If you buy something really, really low and then it expands in value, it could create wealth for you. So I like the Wheel of Fortune. So it's about putting intentions or in moving forward and taking action at this time of energy flipping, right? Of this change, what does it say? What we put out now can change our future. So the steps that we're taking are becoming more and more important with how, where do you see yourself? Your mom, okay, I'm going to get on my pedestal or whatever a little bit. But your mom says, show me your friends, I'll show you your future, right? So where you are right now, you're setting up your future for yourself, right? So, that's kind of what this Wheel of Fortune energy is like. It's saying whatever you're doing right now, you're setting up your future. So do the things you want to do that are, with that in mind of how you're creating your future. And with the Magician there, that just really makes it even more clear. It's like you're manifesting, right? We're manifesting. Our words create reality. Speak clearly, share your ideas. You have the power to inspire. So a lot has to do with how you're interacting with other people, how you're thinking, what you're communicating. So if you're not happy with the thoughts in your head, clear your head and, use your higher mind to manage your thoughts, right? What we're thinking and speaking and acting on right now is very important. It affects our soul, our ego. So what does it say here? Our purpose is illuminated, lead with joy, radiate your true self, inspire others. Inspiring others is your gift. Okay, so those are all the nice things about Leo, or the sun, which rules Leo. And here's another issue with the is that a Leo sign or a node sign? I guess that's a Leo sign. All right, well, I'll give it that. I won't criticize it for that. So we are being called to release our ego, seek validation, and the need to release ego, the need to seek validation, and the need to be in the spotlight, which are not necessarily negative qualities of Leo, but in order to serve others, maybe to be in the spotlight solely for your own purposes, for the glory of, everybody seeing you. That's the intent behind it is very important. Or are you trying to get a message, convey a message that is going to be beneficial to all? So your intent is very important. Okay, moving on. So Monday, tomorrow, August 17th, we have 3 aspects going on, and I have a slide for each one. So I'm going to show you the best one first. On this one, we've got Jupiter, which remember is part of that Leo stellium, right? So all of that energy is kind of merged together in Leo, and it's sextiling, which is fantastic. It's a beneficial aspect to another benefic. So Jupiter and Venus are both called benefics in traditional astrology, which means that they bring blessings and goodness, even in dark and harsher aspects to situations. And so, with the two of them aspecting each other, it brings some really nice, it's kind of like the mini trine. It brings some nice supportive energy to what's going on in the chart as a whole. So Jupiter and Leo, which we've already talked about, and it's showing up over here. You've got the Wheel of Fortune and the Strength card. And then it's in sextile to Venus and Libra. And here's Venus, the Empress, and Libra, the Justice card. So it's about, Venus is harmony and peace and love and beauty and, all things, that are nice, right? And we're bringing balance to that. So this letting go of certain ego qualities that's going on over here with Jupiter and the rest of the stellium approaching the south node. It's not going to be a very difficult process with it in sextile to Venus and Libra. That's what I'm saying. So what do our words have to say here? It says opportunity, flow and ease in the shift, expansion meets harmony, release with grace, speak with heart, be seen with ease. Yeah. So I mean, grace, heart, ease, it's a nice energy. So to move on to another energy happening on the same day, we've got a trine, which is a nice aspect right here, to Saturn, which is one of the malefics. So the two malefics in traditional astrology are Mars and Saturn, which can bring challenge and hardship to a situation. So, in the case of Saturn, there's more restriction, more challenge, more effort to be involved. And with Mars, you have the energy behind you. It gives you a lot of energy to do what it is you want to do. However, you might overstep your bounds and actually it can be divisive. You might step on other people's toes or say something you shouldn't be saying, or it can manifest in lots of different ways. But I'm just saying, so Mars is the opposite. It's like too much energy, where Saturn is restrictive energy. So they're kind of at the opposite ends of that scale. But with Mars and Aries, Saturn and Aries, we're rebuilding new structures, and that's been going on for a while. It's very close. It's a slow moving planet. And so it's been in Aries for a while. Let's look at the energy. Do you like my world card? It wasn't printing my world card when I was asking it to use the world. It kept printing something different. And so I thought to myself, oh, maybe it's because it doesn't want to show a nude person. Although it didn't have any problems showing the star card or the lover's card. So I said, if there's a problem with showing the world card, just put a bathing suit on the woman or whatever. And that's what it did. And then it put it up there. So I tell you, it's kind of fun sometimes, and not fun at the same time. But so with Saturn, we've got the world card, okay, which is achieving something. It's achievement, moving to the next level, achieving something, moving to the next level. And then you've got Aries, which is being in charge of yourself and your own domain, taking initiative, not following others, and so on. So those two energies together are helping us to build and construct new ways of being, new ways of living that are more in line with our own individual belief systems, our own individual ways that we want to do it. And so that's what that's showing over here. And then with this Mercury coming in, because Mercury is much faster moving, it comes in and it's at Leo, making this trine point. It's kind of a little nudge to bring that, bring more of that into fruition, more of us building our own lifestyles, our own ways of being. So Mercury is the magician, and Leo, of course, is the strength card, and see how it combined the magician and the strength card. It was starting to do that. I didn't ask it to. It was starting to merge them, and I was saying, please just show both cards, but it wouldn't do it. So I don't know what it was with AI this week, but it was asserting itself big time, like wanting to do it its own way. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is a chore. But anyway, so the idea behind this energy here is that we are manifesting through our own desires for ourselves, because Leo is the self. It's our courage of expression. and our confidence. It's how we present, how we put ourselves out there. It can be very vocal, because Leo is much more visible. They want to be visible. They want to be validated. They want to be seen. So, this is a much more outspoken type of thing. So it's more about having conversations that help you change or announce that you're changing how, your just how you live, I guess. I mean, it could be whatever your systems and structures are in your life. It could be daily routines. It could be, your house even, or it could be, depends on what house it's in your chart. But, there could be an announcement things are changing, in some form or fashion that you make yourself or somebody makes to you. That kind of thing. So think, speak, build. Words with vision create systems that last. Okay. And then we've got a square going on between Mars and Neptune. Okay. And if we just had a square between Mars and Neptune, it'd be like, maybe that's not so great. But again, remember, we've also got Venus sextile, the two benefics and sextile to each other, Venus and Jupiter. So I think, that's a nice safety net for what's going on here. So remember, Neptune and Aries, what that looks like. Neptune is the hanged man and Aries is the emperor. We showed that on the previous slide for the grand trine. And that energy of finding your own belief system, finding your own, what you believe, your own path, your own convictions, and that kind of stuff. It's coming in a square, which is a harder aspect. So it's saying, there's a connection here, but it's not going to be an easy one. There might be some challenge, right? Mars, remember, brings that energy. What does the Mars card look like? The Mars card is the Tower, right? So there's all that energy there, right? Emotional, let's see, emotional drive, protect what matters. Anyway, and where is it? It's in Cancer. And Cancer is the Chariot. Cancer is that emotional person who armors themselves and covers themselves with their traveling house for protection. It's the crab for protection. So, you've got this energy with emotions. So there, and if you look, Mars, another thing that happens in traditional astrology is that you have rulers, and Mars is the ruler of Aries. So that creates even a stronger influence from this aspect from Mars to Neptune. So when it comes to, let's say that Neptune in Aries is about you finding your own belief system, okay? Because Neptune can be spirituality and Aries is independence, not following the crowd, etc. So let's say you're going that route. With Mars and Cancer, that is a lot more passion and energy put into something, and it can be emotional. So there could be a moment where somebody says, "Why are you playing with tarot cards? Why are you doing tarot? That's so silly," and it might really hit you emotionally right here with the Tower kind of situation, saying, I'm not playing with them. They actually mean something to me and I get a lot out of it. I get a lot of imagery. I get a lot of, helps me use my subconscious mind, et cetera, et cetera, and so I'm just saying that as an example, but, there is a moment here where, something may happen that kind of hits you in that way in your what you believe or your compassion or your own individual way of being that way, that'll hit you emotionally. That's what that square is. So tension between action and spirit, emotional reactions versus spiritual clarity, desire to escape versus desire to rise. And also, a square to Neptune. Neptune could bring out the more negative side of Neptune. So the more negative side of Neptune is escapism. So, with that kind of, if somebody, or a situation brings about an emotional reaction to you, your reaction might include escaping somehow, and in whatever way you like to do that. So just try to stay in the higher vibration if you can. And remember, sextile the sextile with the two benefics, it's not going to, this is not going to be a harsh situation, but I'm just saying stuff like that can come up with these aspects here. Okay, and then Friday, we have an opposition between Saturn and Aries, which is what we saw before. So we had the Saturn square Mars that we just talked about, and then immediately following the square, that energy, we're getting this opposition to Venus, which is, even if it's an opposition, oppositions can be a challenging aspect, but we've got it in opposition to a benefic Venus. So whatever comes out of that square is going to follow up with something beneficial. So, so like, let's follow up on the example. Somebody comes and says, why are you using tarot? That's so silly, whatever, right? They don't see the point of it. And it hurts you, maybe. And then you say, okay, I'll just say I'm speaking for myself, right? So, I get hurt by that. I say, it's not terrible after all. And then if you go on to explain how it helps you and with the benefits you get and etc., something actually good can come out of it. And that's the Venus, that's the harmony, that's love, beauty, values, harmony, and so on. So it's like finding a balance between, and then once the person understands that and you've communicated that, then you've got this acceptance and then you feel more comfortable actually doing it, around, the person. So, just an example, there's all kinds of situations, all kinds of examples, but that is, what I can bring up to you. So the follow-up energy with the Venus opposition can be very, very nice. And then on Saturday, the last day of this week that I'm covering on the 22nd, the sun is finally coming conjunct exactly with the south node. So here's the sun, and I'm showing the whole chart now. You can see all the aspects in the chart of what's going on this week. But the sun is finally coming conjunct with the south node right here. And then immediately following that, it moves into Virgo. Okay, so the south node is going from Leo, the strength card, and this is not the south node, just FYI. This is a north node glyph, but it's another thing, AI can't seem to get the glyphs right many times. So just remember, that should be the other way, reversed. So Leo is the strength card, ego, attention seeking, need for approval. We'll be letting go of those types of Leo qualities that are no longer serving. And then immediately moving into the Hermit energy, which is about discernment, improvement, service, attention to detail, being helpful and humble. So we've got a definite storyline here of letting go of the ego part of ourselves and moving more into a side of ourselves that is serving the collective and actually focused on improvement, process improvement. Virgos very much, I know, I have a Virgo stellium. They like to make things better, make things better, make things better. So that's why they're critical, because they got that eye to make things better. That is the last day of the week. Now I'm just going to go on and look at the world stage. Now, how do we apply all these energies to what's going on in the world? The Leo stellium we saw at the very beginning of the week includes the South Node, and Leo's represents governments and government leaders. So governments are shifting from this element of control that comes from being part of Leo to more of service or serving mankind. The focus is toward the collective and so on. And then we have that Mercury in Leo and trine to Saturn. That was happening on Monday. It was one of the aspects happening on Monday. I would expect official announcements in this regard because Mercury in Leo, like I said, it's very vocal. you know, because it wants to be seen. And Saturn has to do with structures and systems. So something about changing, something about the government regulations or something like that. Something that would be along the lines of being more beneficial to citizens because, you know, Mercury, there's all that energy moving toward the south node of letting things go regarding government. The changes could involve something that affects the pocketbook with Jupiter and sextile to Venus because Venus rules money. Okay, so there could be, and Jupiter is legislation, legal things, laws, and things like that. So there could be a change in regulations or laws in regard to money. And let me see here. With Mars in square to Neptune, that's the day, remember, I was talking about how you might feel like a little bit hurt by something. I gave the tarot example. So with here on the world stage, there might be more military action involving oil because Neptune rules the hidden. Okay, it's not only about escaping, it's also hiding things. And so you know, with Mars, which can be military, squaring Neptune, there could be a military action involving oil, which is the hidden. Oil is ruled by Neptune because it's under the ground and it's hidden. And since we've had all this stuff regarding oil and so on, it makes a lot of sense that something might be happening on this day. However, the ruler moon, okay, Mars is in Cancer, and the ruler of Mars is the moon. So that being in Libra, along with Venus, which is also in Libra, remember that Venus is a benefic. It indicates that this will be a positive event if it happens. So even if it looks bad or seems like it's bad, there will be a positive outcome to it. Remember how I said the next day after that square, there's going to be the opposition to Venus, between Venus and Libra and Saturn. So I think something good is going to come out of it. If something happens and we see it happen, you know, sometimes things happen and we're not aware of it. Also, I was thinking with the sun entering Virgo, Virgo is very analytical, very critical, has a critical eye, discerning eye. There might be more Doge style audits going on, possibly. You know, the sun can represent our sun and Leo both represent government leaders and things like that. You know, maybe the sun is more our leaders and the Leo is more our government. I'm not sure. I have not done a whole class on mundane astrology. So, but, you know, there could be more examination with our government leaders as well, you know, and the sun's going to be in Virgo, you know, for a month, right? So, this could be something going on for like the next month, some kind of audits or examination of our government leaders. And then sneak peek. We have a lunar eclipse going on next week, and I think that's going to be actually a really big deal. The solar eclipse we had last week had a lot of nice aspects to it, and it didn't look like anything major was going to be happening, but this next one, this solar eclipse, looks like it's going to be a really big deal. So that is our week ahead. I hope you enjoyed my presentation using the tarot cards. And I just want to go ahead quickly. I missed doing a read afterwards. It gets too long though. And I missed doing a read. So I thought I would just go ahead and I'm going to draw a card from this Divine Doors. I've got Divine Doors. And it looks backwards to me. I don't know if it looks backwards to you, but it does. It says Divine Doors. It's by Andre Ingracia, or Gracia, however you say that. And I love doors. I love portals and doors and archways. They all appeal, and pathways to some. It's like it's all leading to something, and there's always something around the corner, and that always intrigues me. So, okay, I'm just going to draw. It's like an oracle card, and I'm going to draw a message for today for you viewers out there and see what we get. All right, I got two. The first one looks like this. Lovely. It says, draw down the moon. The forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs. Find us in the wild. Good night. Draw down the moon. So, talk about intriguing. The forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs. Find us in the wild. Good night. So, to me, it's kind of like a little nudge to go and explore things that are a little on the wild side or a little outside of the unknown, something that would definitely be Aquarius or Uranus in nature, something that's a little bit unconventional, right? Explore those things. And then the other card I got is this one. It's called The Art of Life. There's no sacred light in the aura of an invisible life. Be bold in your skin. Let your love dance in sight. Ah, very nice. So even though we've got this stellium moving towards South Node and it's asking us to let go of certain Leo qualities, we still need to be visible. We still need to interact. We still need to influence each other because it's so important. It's so important to learn from each other. So again, the art of life. There's no sacred light in the aura of an invisible life. Be bold in your skin. Let your love dance in sight. Right. So a nudge to get out there and not be fearful of being out there and with other people and interacting and doing, and especially doing the unusual or exploring things that are unusual. Also a little nudge there. So, okay, that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed, like I said, I hope you enjoyed my presentation. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. And also, I just want to mention, and I'm going to keep mentioning this, I am finishing up some advanced studies in my astrology. I'm getting to the point where we're talking about progressions, which I already understand, but it's nice to get through that stuff. And then I'm going to go on to medical astrology after that. So there's an endless amount of stuff to learn with astrology. And that's what I like to do. So, but if you are interested in having an astrology read, a no-cost astrology read, I am happy to do it because I am required for my class to have feedback and to turn in feedback. It's part of my certification for the class. And so if somebody were to allow me to do an astrology read, the only payment would be to provide feedback. And I've got a form that you can fill out for feedback. You don't have to give away all your, private information. You don't have to worry about giving away your privacy. So if you're interested in doing that and having me give you an astrology read, it would be over Zoom. You would go to my website and I'll put it in the description box below. It's www.moonlitlioness.com. Okay. And then you just fill out the form on that website. That will send me an email and then I will respond to you, with another email. We'll set up a time to do a read. So I would love to meet some of the audience. I'd love to meet some of the people that are watching. And I'd also love to do a read for you. Hopefully, I'll see some of you on that. The other thing too is that on Wednesday, I'll have my Wednesday Pulse where I just do a tarot read to kind of get an idea of what the energies are for the upcoming week. Because I know we're all kind of anticipating this possible EBS or something happening. There's a lot of information out there from truthers about things are coming to a head or we're getting close. And so I think doing these frequent, getting in touch with the pulse of the universe, and it will help us kind of see when that's coming. So it's helpful to have that. So I do that on Wednesday, and I will put that out on Wednesday. And the other thing is, I think I'm going to be doing a special video on the eclipse coming up, the solar eclipse coming up on the 28th, because I've seen I've done too much research and seen too many things. It's just a whole video in itself. So if I did it here, it'd be 2 hours long, and I don't want to do that. So, well, okay. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.